Hello, Guardians. It is Ebontis, and this is going to be the Lightfall ViDoc. And basically what I'm going to do is, instead of playing the whole thing through, it's 16 minutes long, I'm going to play it and pause it in the pieces where I want to kind of make mentions. I might talk over it a little bit here. But the big thing is, if you haven't seen the finale for Season of the Seraph, I would definitely do that. It's extremely important and kind of leads into this situation, so in advance, sorry, because I paused it here. But yeah, the pyramids have arrived, and you also notice Calus has arrived, and we're going to Neomuna. We're going to Lightfall. So if you guys are curious about all that, some of this you probably already know. And if you have been watching a lot of the news coming out recently, if you've read the article from Joe Blackburn, some of that stuff is going to be in here. But we get some more visuals, get some more teases about different things, a little more time spent on certain screens. So that's the goal in here. So I'm just going to go through, play it where I can. I'm going to pause and break down kind of some other stuff that we see.
The stakes are higher than they've ever been.
So, first off, I will say the Witness, and I think I mentioned this when I was doing this on stream earlier, I love the character design of the Witness. I know some people say it looks kind of goofy, but I think it's the biggest thing is that it feels totally disconnected from basically anything else we've had. There's like the fact that the suit coat thing that he wears has the little like revolving textures that move. The head kind of is this foggy texture. The eyes are like extremely dilated. It's like, it's very odd, but kind of still somewhat recognizable as still like a nose and eyes. It's weird, but cool. It's, I don't know. I just love the design. Anyway, we're going to see more of him.
Have we been built to defend the Traveler? Have we been built to defend humanity?
I don't have a clue what is going on here, but I just love the concept of like, kind of looks like the trees from Nessus, but I know it's not. You have a portal, you have the Witness in here. Whatever's happening here, I can't wait to see the cinematic, whatever happens in game.
The Witness is going to bring all of that to the test.
What is that? How?
Hold on. 2 seconds. I'm going to back this thing up by like
the test.
So, also, I'm excited about the idea of all these characters working together. So you've got Elsie, the Exo Stranger, and her puka, which is what actually hangs out here on Lightfall. That's the fish. You've got Mara Sov, you've got Ikora, and you've got Zavala. All of these characters bring weight to them. We know Zavala, leader of the Vanguard, Ikora, when they're involved, the story's usually major. Mara Sov is, you know, basically almost paracausal herself. I could be wrong, but, you know, she's got her own throne world. She's busted some physics lessons there. And then, of course, we have the Exo Stranger traveling through time, seeing different, like, parallel realities on all these things. The fact that all of these characters are involved, and then we get Caiatl involved in the seasonal story and stuff, like, all of these pieces coming together puts a lot of weight to the story. Now, do I have worries that Lightfall story won't live up to Savathun and the Witch Queen? Savathun and the Witch Queen just was too damn good. I don't know if it can, and, you know, maybe lower your expectations. If that's like a 9 to you, maybe this will be closer to an 8. Who knows? But again, the narrative team has been crushing it, so I still have faith that the campaign's going to be really cool. I just wanted to say, the fact that this list of characters is involved, honestly, kind of very excited about it. So, I mean, it's cool to see Mara, Ikora, Zavala, the Stranger, Caiatl, just an awesome mix.
What is that? How would we react if we were facing extinction? And how are we going to...
Now, that's like Osiris and Strand, it kind of looks like here.
Extinction.
Okay, sorry, going a little fast here.
How would we react if...
So yeah, that's Osiris. Oh, that's his little cubes, but he's messing with Strand as well. So it does seem like Osiris is going to be our teacher of Strand. He might have some connection to it as well. Kind of excited to see him get a chance to use it.
And how are we going to stand together to overcome this?
You know what must be done.
Calus got a bit of an upgrade, by the way. We'll see that.
To deal with this conflict, to solve for this enemy.
Grappling looks like it's going to be a ton of fun.
When?
This is the picture right here. More of why I wanted to focus on it. If you look at even just the shoulders and like the texture on the suit coat, but it doesn't even look like it's something it's wearing. It's like something it is, because then it comes down and turns into its arm. Maybe it's a glove. I don't know, but it looks cool. The pyramid ships are definitely threatening. We'll see those a little bit more, but I just am digging the Witness and what they've done with it. For whatever reason, for me, it just works as something that is like the calm, pensive villain that's like kind of terrifying, because it's not irrational and crazy and like big energy. It's calm and it's just very methodical in what it's been doing. So I'm very curious. This will lead into the final shape, and I cannot wait for the final shape.
Finally arrives and confronts the Traveler.
Awesome space cinematics. Can't go wrong there. So as Lightfall's fitting. So again, this is the Witness's head is just this smoke cloud.
The Traveler
forever.
is threatened. The Witness is here. Callus's forces are here as well. The Pyramid fleet is here.
Now, if you did watch the cinematic, this is going to look a little bit familiar.
Are here as well. The Pyramid.
Now, you'll notice there's a ton of pyramid ships, and I will say Blackwings, I think, pointed this one out to me specifically. You'll notice this ship over here on the left side of the screen, very different shape to it. Everybody seems to assume, and if it's kind of the front of it, that's probably Callus's ship. So, no longer part of the Leviathan. He's got some fancy new ship, though. Definitely a different shape than all the rest of them, so it does seem to have some distinction to it.
Fleet is here. Big shit is going down.
I think I'm far enough into the video for a little bit of language.
Lightfall should
I say it a
feel
couple
like
times.
you have stepped into the middle of an active war.
Again, like the times that you look at Neomuna and the architecture, we are in this wave, you know, cyberpunky, futuristic. They even go into the architecture design of some of the buildings and the reason with Neomuna and the wind and the pressure. There's a whole bunch that goes into this.
One of the values that we really wanted to push was making sure that you felt like the tip of the spear. You were the one
So that's like the triple Titan melee, so it's just the 1, 2, 3 slash.
who is initiating the action. You were the one who is taking control. You
Gotta
were the
have a
one who is
tank. It's a
attacking
Destiny
things.
campaign. You
What
gotta have a
this
tank.
Tone gave us the chance to do was to really surface the friendship,
Nice
the
little
camaraderie,
finisher.
the connections that we have to each other.
Again, now, here's one of our first looks at the Cloudstrider. And if you go read a lot of the articles from GameSpot to Paul Tassi at Forbes to Dextero, there's a bunch of articles that dropped literally in line with this. Osiris, we know, is going to be involved. Caiatl's got her forces. Here's a Guardian. And then if you picture the perspective, the Cloudstrider is the farthest one away from us and the tallest. They are, I think, if I remember correctly, Caiatl might be like 9'12", or that's literally 10 feet. 9 foot 10 inches, something like that. She's tall. But then the Cloudstrider is taller. Like, the Cloudstrider is massive. And also, one thing to know about Cloudstriders, they kind of touch on it, but there are always two. That's Nimbus, and the other one's Rohan. If you like Lord of the Rings, that's a nice little nod for you. But they live for about 10 years. Whatever happens to them shortens their lifespan to about 10 years. So they are basically beasts, but they stand toe-to-toe with things like Tormentors. It's honestly impressive, and I can't wait to see them in action. But they just the scaling here for the size. Nimbus, the Cloudstrider, is the one you see, the tallest one in the picture. And Caiatl's not small when you've seen her before.
Caiatl, we'll need your troops.
If the end of the universe is coming, what do we have left other than each other?
I do have to say, though, that's like the Guardian's voice, and it always feels so out of place. Like, every other voice seems so cool and legit and well-acted, and then there's our generic Guardian voice filling in. There's a reason why you don't hear it that often, that's all I'm saying. And here's that shot. Now you got Osiris, Ikora, Zavala, and I think this is them all in the helm, kind of looking at the space battle out there. You've got Mara, you've got Elsie. Cool cinematics coming with this Lightfall expansion, I have a hunch.
At all cost.
And then Amanda Holiday, of course, the best pilot ever. She's just
There's a
a
pretty
beast.
big, serious threat that is happening to the solar system.
Just a really cool shot of the pyramids. If you dig them, you know,
we really
you'll
wanted
enjoy
to bring
some
that
moments.
gravity and that weight into the story.
In a major way, what we're doing right now is we're both setting up
There's that kind of
the
undertone
finale for the Light and Darkness saga. We're pulling the Witness into the frame for the first time.
The big question has been, what does it want with the Traveler? What will happen when it
Nobody
finds it?
knows. I'm so curious.
in
That's
Lightfall,
actually a
it
pretty
does
cool
want it.
shot.
I feel like the Witness
take some screenshots,
is so
and that's kind of one of
drastically
them.
different from any other antagonist that we've had in Destiny in the past. Now, a lot of our Destiny antagonists are like kind of over the top and theatrical in their own way. And then we have the Witness, who's just so
This image,
reserved.
like, just floating
all about
through
control
space,
with the
basically.
Witness.
The Witness.
I don't even
is here to
understand
finish
how
what
it
the Cloud
functions.
started.
It's paracausal.
Now, there's Callus.
This is when we get to
Always
Callus,
been
though. This is cool.
power-hungry, in it for himself. He's now signed on as one of the Witness's disciples.
We're seeing Callus go through a transformation.
So those are
and
the
emerge
Tormentors,
as
which are
something
one
new.
thing, and apparently there's a level of Tormentors. But Callus,
My
he got a bit of a glow up. Callus looks
Odds
a
are
little
stacked
crazy.
against you. The Witness has arrived.
These little shots of the Witness seem so cool. But there's Callus. And that's one of the ones where it's like when you see Callus holding his, always got to have the chalice, you know, shoulder pads that'll make every Titan jealous. Just absolutely ridiculously over the top.
We got Callus. Everything's Or attack. How do we deal with this? And then you find this thread.
We knew we wanted to do another darkness power in Destiny. Are we gonna do whatever
And
they
Osiris
created, or
is
are we
going to be
make
our
the
kind of connection to the
poison?
new subclass.
No. We're gonna do something that you'd only find in Destiny. We're gonna go talk about this thing called Strand, and it's the web of life.
What does it mean to have a cosmic web that's connecting everything around you? How do you actually make that like an ability? How do you make that like a power? It's something that doesn't actually exist. You can't just point to fire, electricity, or ice. Coming up with the idea of the strings, the strands lighting up the world. I think that was when everything kind of started to come together.
Strand is unlike any of the powers that we've gotten before. We didn't get it from the Traveler, we didn't get it from the Pyramids. It is a power that we find is unlocked within us as Guardians. When you pull on that thread and you start manipulating that web, ooh, you can do some really powerful things.
We have some exciting player class fantasies coming up with Strand that we're introducing. So we have the Hunter Threadrunner.
Okay, so Hunter, you guys got the rope dart, the thread runner. Honestly, looks really cool.
This threaded spike.
So that's the 360. That's the heavy attack that they get to do. That's the full spin. Seems very good for ad clearing.
Hunter Super Silk Strike, it's this kind of rope
So you got the
dart,
single
you're
point
constantly moving,
and then the big
constantly
spin if you
attacking.
need a clear. I mean, when it comes to a roaming super that's got some like pinpoint potential as well, I'll be curious how the DP is of the singular like light attack where you can kind of continually pepper enemies, but also the heavy attack for ad clearing. I just love the animation on it. It's very well done. And of course, Dave Samuel's here. I love that guy. He's just like so energized about his job.
Fluid, it has an amazing style to it. It's just something we've never seen in Destiny before.
And then there's the Titan Berserker. And
Titan's
the name
Punch,
is pretty
we know.
fitting.
The Titan Super is Blade Fury,
Blade
where you
Fury.
lead these giant...
Now, this I will say is probably the best time that we get to see the triple attacks. We actually get to see the double kind of Wolverine swing with the 2 lashes that come out and then suspend enemies. Then you're going to be able to follow up with more slashes,
blades
basically.
onto your hands. You have a melee attack that you can kind of combo indefinitely, and then you have your heavy attack, which
This
sends out
one.
these suspending
This is kind of the
waves.
first best shot of the heavy right here. Suspends them in air, kills some of them.
Warlock Broodweaver, the mastermind of the minions that we call the Threadlings.
The Warlock Broodweaver super is Needle Storm. You create 3 sources of power, and then those then get launched out.
So this is the cool one. So you got the Warlock. They make all the needles that are going to come down on the ground.
When they hit an enemy, they'll explode.
So they're going to do damage as they fall, but you'll notice all the little rockets land, hang out for a second, and then they turn into Threadlings to go do more damage. So wipe out with one group.
Charge up and then turn into Threadlings.
And now they're Threadlings that will go chase anything else that's out there. And I don't know how far those are going to travel, but that's like a 2-phase super. Grapple apparently goes on to everything, including little flying ships, which is nice.
All the classes will have access to a grappling hook. When you select that, that takes up your grenade slot. It was a hard challenge because, like, how can you make this idea of swinging through the world equivalent to a grenade? And so designers came up with this idea of
you can grapple onto a sparrow, and then they talk about basically the idea is you get to grapple and have a grapple punch. And they say the grapple punch is quite powerful because it had to take up your grenade slot. So they had to kind of plan accordingly.
a grapple melee.
The grapple melee is incredibly powerful.
I mean, you're seeing chaining
grapple
effects
onto
behind
an
it.
enemy,
It's legit.
which stuns them for a second.
Stuns them for a second, and then
when
punches.
I get there, I grapple punch, blow them all up, and start shooting, and then the unravel projectiles are flying all over the
It looks legit. Like, I mean, it allows you to still have the mobility, but a powerful attack to go with it. I kind of like that.
Oh my god, that's Destiny?
That's a guy who loves his job. It's kind of awesome. Now, Cloudstriders, they are awesome. Talked about them earlier, now you get to see them a little bit more. I'm just going to let them shine. Literally.
Neomuna has existed for hundreds of years. It branched off from Earth during our collapse and shut off any communication. So they've been
And
secretly
if you're wondering
existing
why,
on Neptune
there's now,
for a
we
very long
figured,
time
thanks
and
to
keeping themselves
Rasputin,
safe.
something called the Veil that we need to go find before the Witness
It was
and Callus
amazing
does.
to see how the concept
That's why
artist
all of
made
this is
all
happening
of this
now.
beautiful art feel really fresh and new, but also a part of the Destiny universe.
When we think about how to design Neomuna, like what's the architecture like? We're thinking of a lot of aerodynamic things.
Yes, this is the idea of like the structures, like wind sails.
And sailboats. That informs us sort of the architectural form language that kind of looks unlike anything we've ever seen before.
The high winds.
Yep.
Strong
So this
pressure.
is all about Neomuna.
We have that beach area.
It's Neptune.
Where
Not a very
we show
hospitable
the
environment.
Sand is made out of diamond.
So this is another environment. So this is kind of like a beachfront area outside of the city. I don't know if this is closer to Kalos' ship or just kind of an external area, but they say sand is literally made of diamonds. Neomuna, no human would survive. So this is kind of why.
The whole terrain is following up into the beginning of the city. The color, the graphic design, the vibrancy, and yeah, there's some mysteries in there.
It's a lot that we're going to be running around and doing in there.
The cool thing about Neomuna is that it's like this big neon-soaked city, but it has quite a spectrum of different environments.
I think my favorite absolutely
Got
is
some
the
Cabal,
Thrillodrome.
got some Cyberpunk.
It is an
This is like an arcade lost sector they describe it as, which is kind of amazing. You also get to see the hunter icons in the bottom left corner. It also looks like there's a weird icon. I don't even know what icon that is. But you've got your rope dart, which is, or got your like melee, and then you've got your, that's the bola grenade. So right now they wouldn't have the grapple, but they have the bola, which is like a suspension grenade.
arcade lost sector, and I think we can relate to spending our days
Oh, that is a
in
Stasis
a
wave frame.
sticky arcade.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Playing games with our buddies.
I'm also so excited for people to see the puka pond with all of
Yeah,
the
so these are
pukas
like
that
the
have
fish.
been
We've
like
always
such a
wondered what
mystery
the
since Beyond
Exo
Light.
Stranger's ghost, basically.
And then on the other side of
So this is the counter. This is like the Neomuna, the city, the beach, and all that stuff. Gotta love the neon
the
lights and
city
everything. And
is
then
Kalos' ship.
the other
The
side.
Typhon Imperator has landed
Massive ship.
square in Ahimsa Park.
You see that the city
It's
is
huge in
indeed
scale.
kind of in shambles in parts. There's smoke, there's explosions in the air, and I just go back to the teamwork of everybody getting into a room and thinking like, what can we do to make this feel high octane, very explosive, and familiar?
So this is actually a cool moment. So you're gonna notice that this hunter, I think it's a hunter, is holding onto a tangle. Down on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there was a guardian, and you can see the slight little green beam kind of in this area, which I doubt you can see in my mouse, but there's a flying tangle that somebody threw. The hunter is going to grapple to that tangle while holding a tangle, and then throw the tangle while still flying through the air. There's a lot that happens. This is the whole idea of like the way this stuff works together. Still fairly cool. So you grapple in on one tangle, holding another one, throw it down.
This is a city that
So basically, one tangle lands and does the suspension, another one lands, did the explosion. Seems very cool.
needs the Guardians' help and needs their protection, and Kalos is going to do his level best to destroy it, and we're not going to let them, and neither are the Cloudstriders.
Now, Cloudstriders, very awesome, but I said like 10 feet tall, so they will hold their own
There's
just
a lot
fine here.
new about Lightfall. We have this new location, and it has these new personalities that come along with it. They're defenders of this city, and they have new perspectives that we really haven't seen in characters in Destiny.
Beast.
And that's taking the form of the Cloudstriders, Nimbus and Rohan.
Nimbus on the left, Rohan on the right.
I understand what's at stake, Lightbearer. Far better than you.
Rohan is the grizzled old veteran who's too old for this shit. And Nimbus is the young rookie. Nimbus is
Basically
learning
Silver Surfer,
on
which
the
is
job.
fantastic.
Nimbus was
Love seeing
definitely a
that.
favorite of ours to animate. They're so boisterous,
He's the young
and
one.
fun-loving, and a little smug, but super confident in their abilities.
The Cloudstriders, bottom line, are cool.
Glad they beeped that, otherwise I'd have to. That's a Tormentor. So, Tormentors are legit. Now, the one thing I know about Tormentors from just any and all of the stuff I've gathered is Tormentors seem to be, and this may be the whole raid idea as well, but they are kind of based off of, you know, kind of an ancient evil as well. Kind of have a bit of that Rolk nature to them and all that stuff. So we've got definitely another weird, powerful entity, but also there's tiers of Tormentors. Some that you could theoretically freeze with Stasis, others that would brush it off like no big deal. So you're going to have different tiers, different levels, and you'll see
Haunted Tormentors
some are different, and then the one where they show up seems to be a little bigger.
In the Destiny universe.
Holy crap, this combatant is very powerful.
And it will mess
means
us up.
business.
It's incredibly intimidating. This thing wields a massive scythe, has command over all this void energy.
The Tormentor can like grab you, and that's something we've never really done before.
Yeah,
with the
you actually
boss.
get grappled by an enemy.
Throws out the scythe, has the player in his hands.
And in those
I have
moments,
no idea how
for
bad
Dark
that's gonna
Harvest,
hurt.
we actually do things with audio to make it feel even more intimate, where we
So that looks like a bit grander. Notice like the big kind of spiny scale things on the back. Definitely a different shape it looks to this one on the head area.
out all the background sound. So you really have this intimate
Sorry,
moment
got a little
with
blurry
this
there.
terrifying creature grabbing you.
But there are different levels of these things, which is kind of cool too. I would imagine a strike boss, maybe. Maybe.
Lightfall and Season of Defiance are two sides of the Destiny coin. And so on the
So
Lightfall
you got Lightfall,
side,
and now we got
have
Season of Defiance launching at the same
crazy
time.
neon cities, going on an adventure far away, sort of bombastic action fantasy. On the Season of Defiance side of the coin, it's a story that's
Holiday is always
much
crushing
more
it.
closer to home.
And that's probably the time you'll get to see who's involved in this story. Because that looks like
It's a
Crow.
story.
Yeah, that's Crow, 100%. So you get to see Crow, because that's his armor that he wears specifically. And also Holiday. And I forget who else is involved at
More
home.
closer to home.
Season of Defiance is about the ground war on Earth.
Yeah, so you're going to stop and see like EDZ areas with these little pyramid things that have landed in multiple places.
Callus's forces are invading, and we're defending Earth. We're freeing prisoners.
Go now.
We're
Mithrax
trying
is in
to
there too, which is
protect
cool.
The last city, but much more directly and under much more threat than we have seen in a long time.
You're
Pretty much a
working
full
with
revamp of
Petra,
kind of
you're
what looks
working
like a
with
lot of
Devram,
EDZ
you're working with all
zones.
these people that you know that are close to home and that are battling for the real thing you're trying to save.
Yep, that's not supposed to be there. Now, I will stop this for a hot second because on the left, we've got the Strand sidearm. On the right, we've got Quicksilver Storm, and you'll notice the bow. Now, I have no idea what on earth the Titan is wearing on its face. If that is an exotic, it is just weird. But, you know, nothing can look worse than Eternal Warrior or... What's the other one? Kepri's Horn. Both of those are ugly. That looks like Osiris is a vendor, theoretically. Maybe Nimbus will be a vendor, one of the Cloudstrider
We
guys.
have a lot of weapons and armor for players.
That's the one. That's a Stasis bow, and that is, I think, the seasonal bow. Again, whatever the heck the Titan is wearing on the helm, I have no idea, but a Stasis exotic bow. I am pumped for that. You guys know I love bows, so I will be using that one 100%.
To earn, and I'm super excited to see what you've been working on.
We have a couple of Strand exotics. The Warlocks are getting what's called Swarmers. They're these boots that will, on Tangled Destruction, create new threadlings at that location. Now they can either shoot it or they can pick up a tangle.
Yeah,
and
so you
throw
can shoot a
tangle, and then that will
tangling.
also
You can
create
shoot a
threadlings.
tangle and make threadlings, or you can pick
The
up the
hunters are
tangle
getting
and
this
throw it and
helmet
make
that will help
threadlings.
them grapple through the air. As you grapple, you gain this new ability called Woven Mail, and it's reducing the incoming damage except for headshots. The Titans get boots that will augment a aspect that they have. The aspect itself will just send out a wave that will suspend enemies in front of their barricade after casting it, but the boots will split it up into 3 waves. Whenever they spend an enemy with these boots on, they also gain Woven Mail. So pushing the front line further and
So
further.
again, you get
by being
armor, you
tanky.
suspend enemies, you go to your triple melee.
boots
Nice
a
little
couple
combination.
times in our play test.
PvP, I can imagine those boots are going to be a little crazy, though.
We have this incredibly cool heavy metal machine gun that fires according to its own rhythm, where it gets alternate effects every
Yeah, this
fourth
is that
bullet,
void machine
and then
gun that
every
just like
16th
fourth bullet
it
weakens,
gets
16
even more
bullets
added to
volatile.
it. So we have this pistol
Yeah, it's
that will
that
use
one I'm looking
advanced
forward to.
technology to find your enemies.
The Strand pistol actually
And
looks
so
pretty
suddenly
decent.
You're not worrying about
Not
aiming,
a huge
you're
sidearm
really
guy, but it
worrying
looks
about
pretty cool.
surviving during the lock-on time. And it opens you up to consider your movement more than your aiming. Being able to lock on to multiple guys in your field of vision and then just obliterate all of them was, I think, a moment where I kind of went, whoa.
Sounds legit. Yeah, now we get more
We're introducing a
into
ton
some of the
new
systems we
features
get here.
that are designed to make sure that the player experiences are as good as they can be.
I think one of the things we're most excited about are loadouts and what we're calling build crafting 2.0, which is the system of both, hey, let's make it more understandable to how you make a build, And then let's allow you to save.
So this is just like an example where you guys can take a look at all of what's going on. So you've got weapons, armor, mods, perk choices. Literally will do a full summation of everything you've got equipped, which is cool.
And quickly swap between them.
When we started the process of figuring out,
I did not expect
how
that
we were
thorough
going
of
to
a system.
improve build crafting, one of the things that we knew we needed to do was make it easier to go from I have never done any build crafting to I'm really engaged in this system. When we engaged with the UI team and we said we need to improve this experience, they came back with, well, what if we did a build management screen and let you see your
literally you can just like, okay, so my legs, you dive in, you get to see what's going on here. You can see all the mods that are available, pick them all, slot them in. They aren't limiting what mods go where anymore. They're just like leg armor mods, chest armor mods. You have stats, and you have 3 slots that can do whatever you want in those slots. So the freedom of what goes in what slot, what do you want to focus on? Do you care about an armor charge build? Do you care about like just a grenade regeneration build? Is it for Strand? There's so many. I think one of my most excited pieces for this whole thing is going to be the loadout system because of the flexibility and also the ease of use. 2 major things that I'm looking forward to.
On one screen.
It's all in one place. You can see it, you can read it, you can learn. And that coupled with our Guardian ranks, that's going to come in and basically be our first.
And then this is Guardian ranks, which we've heard about. So you've got commendations, which is kind of like your thumbs up, thumbs down. Were you good? Were you helpful? Were you nice? Or did you like clutch up? All those things. But Guardian ranks is how you work through for a new player of what to do in the game. And they kind of go through, give you a little bitty details. It looks like it does go up to 11. And there are advanced ranks that kind of reset each season. So there's like seasonal activities that you'll want to keep up with. You've got your titles, you've got your triumphs, and all that stuff kind of collected here, but it's all under this journey tab now. They consolidated everything.
Companion to every single player.
So that's where it says rank 7 elite, rank in progress. This is an advanced rank. Advanced ranks show mastery of new mechanics and challenges and are refreshed every season. And they literally go inside the ranks, show a few details as well.
What should I be doing in Destiny if I want to get better? You have this track that tells you what you should be doing.
Pretty straightforward stuff. I actually kind of like it.
Into that system, along with accommodations, a way to finally say thank you to players that you've been playing with. We think all of this stuff is coming together to bring this more cohesive relationship between our players. When we think about the future of Destiny, we think there's so much more to discover.
I'm going to let them say all this and then I'll wrap with my thoughts.
The heart of this continent.
We are walking to our 10-year anniversary of Destiny, and Destiny being such a core part of our players' lives. We just want to keep building Destiny.
We've been talking about this antagonist to the Traveler for so long. In Lightfall, we get to spend time with the Witness in a way that we haven't yet.
We're paying off.
See, the fact that we're going to get cutscenes with Witness and Callus, and I'm very, very excited for the campaign.
Storylines that have been coming together and been building for years.
More questions will certainly arise.
We have this finale with the final shape that's coming right after Lightfall, where we're closing down the Light and Darkness saga. But Destiny is far from over.
This universe is about more than the conflict between the Traveler and the Pyramids, and we want to show you new ways to explore it. We want to show you new things to discover in the universe because we think that Destiny has a lot to offer, and Lightfall is the catalyst for that. It's high stakes, thrilling action, all at the same time, pushing the Destiny story to places it's never been before.
And to leave it right there, it basically just goes to the title screen at the end for Lightfall. And you'll ever notice if you can go to a patrol space where there's 6 people, this is probably like the raid intro screen. So I don't know if the raid is going to be in Neomuna, if the raid is going to be on Callus's ship, if the raid is somewhere else in an underbelly area. Not a clue, but this does look like the raid intro screen. And maybe there's like a Sparrow section for the opening that you go through. You got different armor sets in here. But honestly, for Neomuna, I'm excited for the campaign, for the characters involved. I'm glad to see the Witness being more of a forefront, involvement in the campaign, like literally having discussions with Callus, not just, you know, kind of a whisper in the back of the mind, truly facing them, even if you are looking through kind of a broken mirror situation. The characters on our side that are involved, loadouts, Guardian ranks, commendations, those are kind of fine. I mean, they'll be nice for newer Guardians. I don't expect that to be too much that I worry about because most of that's just going to get done as you probably play. but the reorganization of seasonal challenges, the freedom of loadouts that we're going to be able to go through. We've got some cool looking exotics I'm looking forward to getting, and just a lot more. And of course, more seasons coming over the course of this year. We already know a lot of what's coming in Season of the Deep in 21 and Season 22, and crafting changes and Umbral simplification and vendor. Like, you'll go to the war table, but there's going to be less upgrades. They're easier to understand, less currencies. All of that stuff seems positive. I know people have suspicions and nervousness about if this is going to be an awesome expansion. The Witch Queen was damn good, and I will fully admit I don't know if this one can live up to it. I just don't. You're dealing with Callus as opposed to Savathun. That's going to be hit or miss for a lot of people, but you got the Witness involved. Maybe there's some twist we don't expect, but honestly, I think this is going to be a very fun expansion, and I think the freedom of how you want to play Destiny is hopefully going to start to get better and better, with not less complexity, because the loadouts are going to allow for a lot of build crafting, but a lot of less unneeded nuance with like currencies and just weird things. Simplification where it should be, deep loadouts and other things where you would like it to be. Cloudstriders seem badass, and honestly kind of excited to see what those can do. And overall, I can't wait to face my first Tormentor and get my butt whooped. So that is about everything we've got for the Lightfall ViDoc. We'll have a TWAB later today. I don't think I'll do a video over that one because I imagine it's a summation of everything we got this week. Because we got the article, and then we've got this. We've got a ton of information already this week, so I don't think there's much more that they're going to put in there. If there's anything major, I'll probably do a community post. If you want to find me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Ebontis, Twitter, it's Ebontis, but right here on YouTube, you guys know I'm going to have Lightfall guides coming, tons of them. So please hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and if you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, leave a comment if you got questions. Let me know what you guys are excited about for Lightfall. Let me know what makes you maybe nervous or apprehensive, or maybe not quite on board that train yet. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you soon.